In a typical test cross, an organism showing a dominant phenotype, within brackets, whose genotype to be determined, should be determined, bracket close, whose genotype to be determined, that is dominant phenotype, bracket close, is crossed with the recessive parents, instead of self-crossing. In a typical test cross, the dominant phenotype whose genotype to be determined is crossed with recessive parents instead of self-crossing. Okay, the progenies of such cross, can easily be analyzed to find the genotype of the test organism. The progeny of such cross can be easily analyzed to find the genotype of the organism. Test organism. Okay. Next point. In a test cross, in a monohybrid test cross, when heterozygous dominant F1 or F2 crossed with a recessive parent, the progeny exhibits 1:1 ratio of dominant to recessive. 1:1 ratio of dominant to recessive. This is test cross ratio. What is the ratio of the test cross? Monohybrid test cross ratio is 1:1. Next point. Mendel devised test cross to distinguish between heterozygous dominance and homozygous dominant progeny. Heterozygous dominance and homozygous dominant progeny. Okay, this is the test cross. Along with the test cross, I told you another cross called back cross. Here, test cross is always a back cross. Back cross means F1 or F2 dominant progeny. F1 or F2 dominant phenotype crossed with any of two parents. If dominant F1 or F2 phenotype is crossed with any of two parents, any of two parents means here this one or this one. But a back cross, when this dominant progeny is crossed with any of two parents, if that any of two parents is particularly recessive parent, then it is a test cross. Okay, I will erase this now. Write that point. Why test cross? For test cross, why do we prefer only recessive parent? That answer will come here. Why do we prefer only recessive parent for the test cross? Why? Because, see next point. Here, if F1 or F2 dominant phenotype, dominant crossed with recessive parents, then it is test cross. That means test cross is always a back cross. What is back cross? Back cross is a cross when a dominant F1 or F2 is crossed with any of two parents. If it is crossed, I mean, this is dominant F1 or F2. If it is crossed with this parent, that is back cross. Or if it is crossed with this parent, this is also back cross. So test cross is always a back cross. Okay, but see the difference between back cross. I mean, why in back cross, test cross only taken? Here, back cross we can do in two types. Back crosses are two, where F1 dominant F1 or F2, whatever it is crossed with dominant parents. That is one back cross. Or F1 or F2 dominant is crossed with recessive parents. That is also a back cross. But recessive parent means that is what we are calling test cross. Here, for test cross, why we take this only recessive parents? See now, suppose for test cross, what is the test cross? Normally, F1 or F2 dominant, if it is crossed with recessive parent, it is called as a test cross. To find the genotype of this, we can take this recessive parent. Suppose if we take dominant parents, to find this genotype or this genotype, now what will happen? Capital T, capital T, capital T, capital T, capital T, small t, capital T, small t. So all are dominant. If this one, otherwise, if this genotype is there, that is crossed with again dominant parent. Dominant parent means all will be, I mean, TT, capital T, capital T, like that totally 4 will come. Here also all are dominant. All are dominant. But if we take recessive parent, I told you 2 cases. What is that? If capital T crossed with capital T small t, then all dominant will come. Morning I told you that cross. Test cross where this genotype. Another one, capital T small t, sorry, this one, small t small t. When heterozygous dominant is crossed, then the test cross ratio is 1:1. So by selecting the recessive parents, we can find the genotype. See here, recessive parent we took. By taking recessive parents, when it is crossed, I mean F1 or F2 dominant phenotype is crossed with a recessive parent, means in next generation all dominant came means this is homozygous dominant. If 1:1 ratio came means this is heterozygous dominant, like that we can see. But if we take this dominant parent in crossing with this F1, in both cases all are dominant or formed, then we cannot find out the genotype of this. Finding the genotype of that is not possible because in both cases all are dominant. All progeny are producing which have dominant character. That's why in back cross, I mean in test cross, recessive parent only taken. If you take this dominant parent, then in both cases all dominant progeny will come. This difference we cannot see between homozygous dominant and heterozygous dominant. Okay, now keep reading back cross. You wrote 2 points. F1 hybrid within brackets capital T small t. After this point write another point. F1 hybrid crossed with homozygous dwarf. Ratio 1:1. Ratio 1:1. Then next point, F1 hybrid crossed with homozygous tall hyphen all are tall plants. F1 hybrid crossed with homozygous tall hyphen all are tall plants. Okay, now next point. Next, Mendel, this backcross is also complete. Next, Mendel proposed two general rules to consolidate his understanding, of inheritance in monohybrid crosses. In monohybrid crosses. These rules are called laws of inheritance, or principles of inheritance. Principles of inheritance. First law is law of dominance. Second law is law of segregation. First one, law of dominance. According to the law of dominance, he proposed some terms, some different points for this law of dominance. What are that? Characters are controlled by factors. Characters are controlled by that units of inheritance which are called as discrete units. Discrete units called factors. Characters. Each and every character is controlled by factors. Okay? These factors occur in pairs. These factors occur in pairs. Okay. Here ratio is 3:1. What ratio is 3:1? What is related to this? No, that is not coming here, ratios. Here, in a dissimilar pair. Similar pairs means homozygous. In a dissimilar pair, one factor is dominant and other is recessive. Dissimilar pair means suppose both are same. This is similar pair. This is also similar pair, but this is a dissimilar pair. One is dominant, one is recessive. In dissimilar pair of factors, one member is dominant and other one is recessive. Okay, here the dominant factor, it dominates. Which one? Dominant factor controls recessive factor. That means in presence of dominant factor, recessive factor is not expressing, it dominates. Recessive factor is dominated by the dominant factor. Okay? This is some lines which are regarding to the law of dominance which was proposed by the Mendel. Okay, here Mendel used this law of dominance to explain the dominance of only one character. Mendel used to explain the expression of only one of the character which is coming from the parents. Okay, and expression of both characters in F2, both dominant and hidden. Yeah, both dominant and recessive. Hey, here law of dominance means what is dominant, what is recessive. Here no need of ratios. Principle of independent assortment. No. Principles of independent assortment means that is next one. That is third law. That is based on dihybrid cross. Why are saying tall dominant, dwarf is recessive? I told you already. Dominant, I mean tall is a dominant factor. Dominant factor expresses its character at a faster rate than the recessive character. Dominant allele expresses at faster rate. Here he used Mendel. He used to explain the pattern of inheritance. Explain only one of the parental character in F1. Only one of the parental character in F1. In F1 generation, in monohybrid cross, only one character is considered in F1 and both in F2. Both in F2. Why? Because in F1, here, suppose this is a parent means, here it will give one gamete. This is combining with another one because both are dominant. Here both are recessive. Both gametes are same type. Here also same type of gamete are produced. Both are same. So one character. But in F2, capital T small t crossed with capital T small t means here two kinds of gametes. Here two kinds of gametes. Okay. Here both this parent is giving one dominant character. This parent is giving one dominant character. But here only dominant character is coming from one parent. That is the point. He used to explain one of the parental character in F1. That means only this character. This character is not dominant. So that character from another parent is not explained. But both parents, because this is giving one dominant, this is giving another dominant. Both parental characters in F2 generation. Okay. So this dominance, law of dominance. What is that? Synchronia. Hey. Gametes released, synchrony release. Hey, why are you going to gametes release synchrony? That is regarding pollination, not here. Synchrony means for self-pollination, same time there should be release of pollen grain and maturation of anther and corpel. That is synchrony. That is not needed here. That is somewhat different. Okay. Yeah, you are right. That boy is always saying 3:1. So this law of dominant explains the proportion of 3:1 ratio in monohybrid cross. According to law of dominance, tall to dwarf ratio in F1, in F2 of a monohybrid cross is 3:1. Tall to dwarf ratio in monohybrid cross is 3:1 according to the law of dominance. Okay, complete. Yes, thank you. Complete now. Yes. Next, second law. Law of segregation. Law of segregation. Here, this law is based on the fact that alleles do not show any blending. Blending means changing. Both characters are recovered in F2 generation. See here, in monohybrid cross, when this is done, this all F1 has tall character which is dominant. But when F1 is helped in F2, 3:1 is formed. 3:1 means which are 3 are tall, 1 is dwarf. Here, this law of segregation is based on that blending of the characters. That means, here, see here, blending of the alleles. Here, tall is taken and dwarf is taken. Two plants, two parents, one is a tall, another one is a dwarf. Two parents are taken. When the two parents were crossed, there is formation of only tall. Dwarf character is not seen in F1 generation, but the same dwarf character is again reappeared in the F2 generation. Based on this only, this law of segregation is proposed. Okay? Here, though the parents give two types of alleles during the gamete formation, here the gamete will segregate 50% like that. Separation of the gametes is there. Okay? Here the gametes what are 50% forming here, they are suppressing the dwarf character of the parents, dwarf parents. Then the same character is recovered again means, here there is a loss of the dwarfness. That means 50% is the chance of dwarfness, but due to dominance of this allele, this character is not taken. But remaining 50% chance will come now, that will come here. That is this point. Here, though the parents are contain two alleles during gamete formation, there are two alleles during the gamete formation. The factors are allele of a pair segregate from each other. As segregation is there, one gamete will get only one allele. Here two alleles are there means this gamete will get this allele only, and another gamete is formed means that another gamete will get another allele. Two alleles will not be taken into same gamete. So during the gamete formation, two alleles are separately taken into two different gametes. But a homozygous parent will produce two similar gametes like this. Homozygous parent is producing two similar gametes, but heterozygous parent produces two different gametes. That is this point. Okay, segregation means gamete formation results in the segregation of the pair of the allele. Because this is parent. Parent is usually what? Diploid member. This diploid member upon reproduction it will produce gametes which are haploid. So diploid, suppose one allele is present on one chromosome, another allele is present on another chromosome means one gamete will get one chromosome, so one gamete will get only one allele, another gamete will get another chromosome and another allele. That is this point. Understand? Is the point of this law of segregation concept. Is it clear? Yes. Hey, Sanjay Ratnam. Recently you are not joining the classes. Yes, sir. Sanjay Ratnam. Recently you are not, I didn't find you in classes. But again you came from today, I think. Today or yesterday? Yes. What happened? Sanjay Ratnam, are you okay? Okay. Dr. Sanjay Ramaswamy, eye problem, No, set right, sir. Okay. Dr. Sanjay Ramaswamy. Okay. Okay, now write notes for this law of segregation. This law is based on the fact that alleles do not show any blending and that both the characters are recovered in F2 though one of these is not seen in F1 stage. Next, though the parents contain two alleles, during gamete formation, the factors are alleles of a pair segregate from each other so that a gamete receives only one of the two factors, only one of the two alleles or factors, only one of the two alleles. Next point. Of course, A homozygous parents homozygous parent produces all similar gametes while a heterozygous parent produces two kinds of gametes with equal proportion. Two kinds of gametes with equal proportion. Okay, that is law of segregation. See here, in detail, if you see the law of dominance, then we can understand. What is the concept of dominance? For better understanding between the dominant and recessive characters, let us assume normally a diploid organisms have 2n condition. 2n condition means each chromosome has a copy. That means two alleles are there. Two alleles. The two alleles, what we are saying, that two alleles may be this condition or this condition or this condition. Two different alleles may be both homozygous dominant or heterozygous capital T small t or small t. Two alleles are present. Okay, here both are same means no problem. Both are same. I told you, sir. Yeah, what is that? Someone named as my name, Indana. Hey, who is that worst fellow? Same names are there. One second. Chandana, raise your hand. Turn on your mic.
Sir.
Yeah, you only know. Another fellow. Who is that fellow? Left.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, you can mute yourself. Because the two names are there. I plan to remove that fellow. But your name is there means if I remove you, then you cannot join again. That's why. But in meeting settings, I changed. You cannot rename yourself. That setting I already done. That setting already I done. Okay. But they are changing the name and joining the class. They will be losing. They are cheating themselves. By doing like this, they are unable to follow the class. They cannot. Hey, who is this G7? In G7, any girl is there named Dharani? G7 Harita Roshni. Harita Roshni. Not there, Angeline? Yeah. Is there any girl named Dharani in G7? Yeah. That girl is joining, leaving like that. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Right, that 2 alleles are there. Yeah, G7 Dharani. Yeah, you are from G7 only. You left and joined. That's why I'm asking. Okay, no problem. Net problem. Okay, done. Don't worry. Follow. Okay. See here, a diploid member has a 2n condition where 2 chromosomes, one chromosome has one allele, another chromosome has another allele. If both are same means no problem. Both are same means no problem. Here one of them may be same or different. These two may be same or different. Same means capital T or small t, capital T, small t. Both of them may be same or different. Now, these are what we are saying, 2 alleles are nothing but 2 copies of a gene. A gene is there. One gene has 2 copies because each chromosome has a copy. I mean, each chromosome is present in a pair, so that every gene has 2 copies. 2 copies are present. Now, see that, let us assume that one normal allele produces one normal allele on expression will produce if any normal allele is there. It expresses a protein. Suppose this protein can be working as an enzyme. This enzyme carry out a biochemical role or function. A normal allele is there means that normal allele can express into a protein, like a protein product is formed, that normal enzyme is produced, that normal enzyme is performing a function. Suppose out of them 2 alleles are there now, a modified allele is present. Let us assume this recessive one is a modified allele. This modified allele may be producing 3 chances are there. Okay? This modified allele may produce, as the gene is modified, it may produce less effective enzyme. That means enzyme activity is less for that. That is one thing. Or non-functional enzyme may be produced. Non-functional enzyme may be produced by the modified allele, or there may be a chance of no enzyme. Normal allele is there means that normal allele is a gene which undergoes expression and it produces a protein. That protein can carry out enzymatic function and carry the function. Suppose a gene is responsible for the tallness means that gene will produce a protein. That protein can work as enzyme that will responsible for growth of the plant, and the plant will show tallness. That is the character. So that function is shown. But 2 alleles are there. One is a normal allele. If another allele is modified like this, that modified allele cannot express. See here, the modified allele may be producing less effective enzyme, or non-functional enzyme can be produced, or due to that changes in the allele, modified means gene is changed, DNA is changed. As a change in DNA taken place, there may be chance of no effective enzyme or less effective enzyme, or no enzyme. See this, when less functional or less efficient enzyme is produced, less efficient enzyme is produced means it may produce same phenotype. Same phenotype can be shown. Even a modified allele also may be producing same phenotype. But second one, I mean, same phenotype is produced means it is similar to normal allele. Its function is similar to normal allele. Whereas the second one, third one both. But if an allele is producing non-functional enzyme or no enzyme, what happens now? Phenotype may be affected. It affects phenotype because the phenotype character, which is the function, is controlled by the enzyme. That enzyme is produced as a protein from the normal allele. When normal allele is modified, second one, if it is producing less effective enzyme also, same phenotype may come, no problem. But no functional enzyme or no enzyme is made, then this function is not shown. So phenotype will be affected. So according to this, phenotype is depending on what? Normal allele. The phenotype is depending on normal allele only. That is not writing right. Functioning are the normal allele. Normal allele means, which is normal allele? Unmodified allele. Unmodified allele. Based on that only. This unmodified allele represents original phenotype. This represents unmodified allele which is carrying unmodified allele represents original phenotype. Whereas the second one is there na, modified allele. Is representing the original phenotype. Okay, that is called dominant. This is dominant. That is called as dominant phenotype or dominant allele. And modified allele is called recessive. Write that point. After this, at top I will write. Modified allele which fails to express, that is called as recessive allele. Modified allele is generally the recessive allele. Okay, recessiveness. Why character is not seen in recessiveness means that recessive allele may be producing no enzyme for the phenotype or non-functional enzyme for the phenotype. No enzyme or non-functional enzyme may be produced by the modified allele or recessive allele. Okay, this is the term of capital T small t. In that capital T small t, this is normal allele which is dominant. This is modified allele which is we are calling recessive allele. Okay, that recessive allele is shown in small letters, lower case letters. whereas the dominant allele is shown in uppercase letters. Yeah, enzyme is made up of protein only. Hey, all enzymes are proteins. Catalytic proteins are called enzymes. Okay, that is about dominance. Next, some more concepts are there based on the monohybrid cross-like. What is the reaction between enzyme and phenotype? Hey, enzyme is responsible for function. A metabolism or reaction is carried wrong. Metabolism or reaction is carried by the enzyme which is made from the protein. That enzyme is carrying the function or metabolism means then phenotype will be seen. Take an example in human beings. Second point in board, this one, non-functional enzyme or no enzyme means then there is no expression. Unmodified allele represents original phenotype. Unmodified allele means this one normal allele. Normal allele is responsible for original phenotype which is dominant. And modified allele is responsible for recessiveness. That is the difference. Normal allele point, that only I told you, normal allele is there, that normal allele, this one, this normal allele is there means gene expression takes place means transcription, translation. By that there is formation of a protein. That protein can work as an enzyme. Because enzymes also proteins, right? Proteins may be transport protein or enzymatic protein, structural protein, right? So enzyme. Enzyme means that carries a process, or it may be a hormone means that carries its function. Insulin, suppose insulin is there. Insulin is there means controls diabetes mellitus. Modified means insulin is not produced, diabetes mellitus develops. Understand? Suppose MSH, melanocyte stimulating hormone protein is there, allele. A gene for this melanocyte stimulating hormone enzyme is there. That gene expresses, that allele is expressed means protein will form. That protein will act as MSH, melanocyte stimulating hormone. That melanocyte stimulating hormone will cause melanin pigmentation, skin will become dark. That is normal. If that protein is a modified allele means that MSH protein will not come. Not came means melanin pigmentation not takes place, skin will become bright. Board last point, how many times I explained this point? 4 times I explained. Again you are asking. One person one time means how many times I need to repeat? Unmodified allele is original phenotype. This is unmodified allele that is responsible for the original phenotype. Modified allele may be responsible for phenotype in this case. Okay, these 2 cases means modified allele will not code for any enzyme or character. Why protein not individually function as enzyme? Right. Protein functions are 10 functions are there for a protein. A protein is a catalytic protein. Protein work as enzyme. Protein work as a hormone. Protein work as a carrier. Protein work as a nutrient. Protein work in contraction. Proteins work in immunity. Proteins can work as a toxin. Okay, understand? 10 different functions are there for proteins. Protein have 10 different functions. In that 10, this enzyme is one. Okay, right. Enough for today. We'll continue tomorrow. You can take break. When the class will start, Anjali sir is not available till now. Whether the class may be physics or zoology, that will intimate you. Okay, wait. all of you leave except Chandana.